Hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is my Kingdom Hearts 2 Critical Mode video walkthrough. We are back in Twilight Town, and we're also going to be going back to Hollow Bastion. You'll notice that when we were entering just then, it said that the level here was 28. That is the recommendation for the combat that's going to take place in this encounters that will happen here. Of course, you don't need to be that level. That's the joy of this game. You can beat it all at level 1, but be warned. If you aren't using that no experience, you do not get the damage buff from it. So if you've had it on and then you take it off, goodness me, does the game get tough. Like, you're doing nowhere near the damage you need to be able to do, and they're doing all the damage to you. Also, you're leveling up really quickly, which is ruining your run if you've ever made that mistake, but yeah. That secret modifier in that definitely makes the level 1 stuff a lot more palpable. I've already mentioned that there's an opportunity that you might see them depending on how these do. I do have to say though, folks, the Kingdom Hearts content has a very niche audience, and I don't know if you're aware of it or if you're too into it to realise, but it's not doing the best numbers on the channel. My channel, however, has never been about the best numbers. That's why I don't just directly pander to the things that are successful. Like, I recently put up a live reaction video for Bloodborne, and of course it did really well with numbers, because everything I cover with Bloodborne seems to do really well with numbers, because it's one of those games a lot of people are very excited about, and sometimes those kind of things can be very frustrating to somebody who wants to do a diverse amount of content, because to get such effortless numbers, it makes you feel like you're doing something wrong. And you don't have to be, but I'm sure everybody who's done this has that feeling when they do something that has zero effort in it, and it gets a massive reception just because the way it is. And then you do other things that have a lot more effort in them, a lot more of yourself, more of your heart, so to speak, keep it with the whole Kingdom Hearts theme, and they don't get any of the reception that you're looking for. And that is literally nobody's fault, that, guys. It just isn't. Because it's one of those things where you can't expect anybody to like everything. You know, you can't expect everybody to watch. And I say this a lot to people who ask me questions, and I try and put it out as much as I can in a commentary for the people who miss those questions or miss those comments, and a lot of people do, which is quite surprising. But here is one of the first fights of the video. We're up against some nobodies. You'll notice the nobodies have considerably more life, but we also have considerably better stats, so we can fight them on a much grander scale now. We have combos, we have moves, and as I pointed out when we first fought them, when it's one-on-one, or if you just want to isolate them, use the reversal technique to the best of your ability, because it's incredibly powerful. The only thing to be wary of here is the Berserker. He is a new enemy at this point, and he just hit me then for massive damage. He will be off-screen quite a lot, and he'll come down with the hammer. What I should have done at the beginning of this fight is go directly for him, because if you can get his reaction command, you can scoop up all the other nobodies and kill them with his move, because he's that strong. And right there we're fighting another Berserker. Like right now, pick up on the Berserk, gather as many of them as you can, scoop them, and then do the command. And I mean, look at that. It is a wrecking machine, and then when you drop, you can immediately go back into another reaction command. And these are the kind of situations I really like on Kingdom Hearts, and I know I've mentioned this. I just want to go into it a little deeper. I would prefer them if we could control them, and that might be confusing, because you do control the reaction commands, but you don't control when they turn up, and that is one of my biggest criticisms of the reaction command mechanic, because you have very little to do with it other than reacting to it, and then at that point it's just a glorified QuickTime event where it's beyond your control. So for the Berserkers, it would be really nice if you had to do something specific to get the reaction command, so you would never have to be left guessing whether or not it's going to take place. And then, instead of a fight that can go really well if the reaction command turns up, to a fight that goes really well every time because you know how to fight it. And I don't know if that's a mark of how old the game is and how gaming was at that time. I don't know if it's Square Enix's will to make the game simpler so that they don't overcomplicate things. Because believe it or not, games that are simple are the ones that work the best. They are the ones that are generally the most popular. And simple is a relative term. So I don't want people getting aggressive or angry for the wrong reasons. I'm not calling a game simple. I just mean on a mechanical level. A great example of this is Gears of War. The first Gears of War had a pistol, a shotgun, a machine gun, and then a special. It also had a grenade if you want to talk about that. You could do each of those by pressing a direction on your D-pad. Then everything else was just aim and shoot, reload, and then run and cover button. You could use them together and do some pretty fancy things like the SWAT turn and the bouncing into cover and the wall bouncing and the active reloads and all that kind of great stuff. You could do a lot of great things in that game that were technical and complicated, but they all started on a simple foundation. And that game became about rock, scissors, paper with weapons. Certain weapons favoured certain ranges, all that kind of great stuff. It was simple. And that's why it was great. And don't get me into the whole host advantage online nature of Gears 1, because I was there, folks. I remember, I will never forget putting 2 shotgun blasts in a guy's back and he turns round and I die. That happened to all of us. But that simple premise is what makes it amazing. And a lot of devs aspire towards that simple, easy to pick up, but hard to master kind of thing. And somewhere along the lines, the whole hard to master point has kind of been lost. So we get these ones that are easy to pick up and easy to play, and please give us money, which is good for the moneymakers, not so good for the people who are aspiring for bigger, greater, more skill-dependent things. But that's the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching. You take care now.